CloudWorks, and if you've got summaries from your sessions electronically, if you can put them up, that'd be great. Other people have been coming in and commenting from outside as well, which is really helpful. Paul's captured the plenary feedbacks and is putting them up as little video snippets. We've got Tim's mind maps, which are both on his blog, and we've embedded them into CloudWorks as well. So we'll continue to do that tomorrow. And what we'll aim to do is sift through all the information and condense that into some kind of summary report which we can send around. And we'll also be feeding that into the guidelines that Alto are leading on. Tomorrow is the same format pretty much, but we start at 9:15. Again, if you can be here sharp. Shouldn't need so long to get in, because as long as you bring your badges. But as Abel said, bring your passports just in case. I suggest we stay in the same rooms. Just note which room you're in terms of, we're back to level 13 and level 6 in this room for both the morning and the afternoons. And we've got 2 questions. You might like to kind of think a little bit about the dimensions, because that will be our initial focus tomorrow morning, those 4 dimensions. And we'll give you a matrix that Alto have produced, which can facilitate the discussions. And then the really crucial one at 11 o'clock is thinking about how we feed this all into practical guidelines. And going back to what Dirk was saying about, if I'm a teacher, what's the use of this for me? So what is going to be practically useful from all of this to transform OUP for policymakers, for institutional leaders, for teachers, for learners? And then we'll conclude at the end, and we'll look specifically more at the guidelines and recommendations, and then kind of aim to finish by 4:30 at the very latest, because I know people have got trains and planes to get. So I think that's great. This has been a really good day, really, really productive, both in the sessions and in the back channels, both in Twitter and CloudWorks. There's been lots and lots of great discussions, so continue to contribute to those. Just before we finish, are there any thoughts on tomorrow? Is there anything else you'd like us to cover, or something different? Obviously trying to keep the temperature up, that would be nice.
Can I just say, it would be very nice if there could be some really concrete directions that we can each take forward away from here. If there was, I suspect that's what you're intending at the end, but actually to know how we can, I'm a new boy in the gang, so how I can continue to contribute to what you're trying to do. So if you came up with a sort of set of, not too many because we're all incredibly busy, but some key tasks you'd like us each to do.
Great. That's a really good idea. So what I'll do is we'll think about the agenda and add in a session where we get you to have a chance to reflect on your own expertise and your own networks and what you'd be willing to do in terms of the two-way process of contributing or disseminating out. That would be really helpful. So when I think of, for example, in the UK context, I think about Chris and Andy's connections through the JISC and HEA programs, how they can disseminate out what we're doing or get feedback from those broader projects would be useful without it being too much, too onerous. And likewise, the other connections we've got, because collectively we've got a very extensive network. Similarly, ALT, Seb, you're probably thinking that yourself, how can we feed this into ALT? An obvious thing would be that maybe we do a workshop at ALT next year, but then maybe you might want to post a link to this CloudWorks space on the ALT mailing list and invite people to comment, or we might talk to you about doing something jointly. So just thinking from your own perspectives of what we could do. I'll also put a link into the CloudWorks space to a special issue of Eurorule, which is the journal that's linked to the Eden Network, which is a forthcoming call on OER and creativity. And if you've got any interest in that, that'd be great. I can talk to you more about that. Contributions would do really well.
We have a little bit of time between now and the dinner, so we should try, I think, to prepare a little bit for the questions for tomorrow. Like, I had the feeling we had great discussions today, but for example, when talking about the barriers, there could have been some preparation because there have been articles on that, and we had many experienced people, so we came up with that quite quickly. But it somehow felt a bit like reinventing the wheel again. Okay, it might happen that we forget something if we build it on top of other stuff, but I have the feeling that we have all done a lot of work on those issues, and if we share it on CloudWorks, I would love to, I just can't log in there at the moment.
Actually, I had the same issue yesterday, that I didn't receive the confirmation email.
Yeah, right.
Connected
Is it okay now? You're okay?
Yeah.
And are you okay now?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
No, but actually we should really
Yeah.
use the time and share some key things
Yeah.
from articles or so, because
Yeah.
it's there.
well,
So.
one of the things I've been doing today, part of the reason why I wasn't participating in the sessions, is I've been keeping an eye on the tweet stream and putting in the links to all the various articles and references that people have been putting in. So if we could collectively do that, it would be really useful. But that's a great suggestion, we can keep doing that. But I also, Tim, I think that's a really excellent suggestion about concrete ways in which we can continue this. Obviously this cloudscape will be there, but the reality is you'll go away and forget about it. Susan, I don't know whether we can think up also whether we might link this somehow to the ongoing consultative group. Maybe have this group as a kind of virtual extension of that. I don't know, we can have a think about it perhaps. You know?
What comes to this today and yesterday, there's all interesting people with different backgrounds. It's been nice to mix the groups so that we have a chance to talk with each other.
Okay, so do you want to mix groups tomorrow?
Yeah.
Are you okay with that, Ulf? Yeah? So who doesn't want to go with whom? So Thomas obviously doesn't want to go with Ulf. We'll split those two. Nobody wants to go in Andrew's group. Okay, we'll split the groups tomorrow. Also, can I thank Anna Karina, who's not going to be here tomorrow. Gonzalo, are you going to be here tomorrow? Yeah. Just to say thank you ever so much for coming. We really appreciate it. It's a shame you're not going to be here, but keep an eye on us virtually. She's got important stuff back at home to do. And I think that's it, unless there's any other thoughts. Paul, have you got any critical final reflections?
We can discuss the expenses tomorrow if there are any queries.
He's always money orientated. Money and time. Any other thoughts? No? Ulf?
Can you maybe again introduce the two questions for tomorrow and what we have already done?
Sorry, tomorrow morning, do you want me to start by reflecting on what we've done?
Yeah, so that everybody knows where, so to speak, what
Okay.
they are building on.
So what I'll do tomorrow is just very quickly, if we all meet here, I'll just do a quick review of the two questions you've done, point you to the cloudscapes, remind you some of the key points, and then I'll introduce the following two questions. Yeah? Okay.
Actually, all the documentation which we have done so far, which are the 60 case studies, plus a very long document, a very long 80 or 90 page document, which is an analysis of all these case studies, plus videos, plus discussions. It's quite a lot of material, unfortunately. Is in Cloudscape, all there. Everything which the project has so far in its so research is actually in Cloudscape. Everything.
And the links to those related.
It's somewhere else also. It's all there. It's only that it's quite a lot meanwhile.
Yeah.
So it takes a while to go through it.
In the Cloudscape for this meeting, there's a link to the Cloudscape which has got 60 case studies. Each case study is an individual cloud. There's also a template there, so if you've got other case studies, particularly from non-European contexts, we'd really appreciate it if you took the time to just quickly fill them out. It doesn't take long. Also, the detailed methodology of how we develop the dimensions and what they're about is again there as a separate Cloudscape. And the various spotlights that we had, as I mentioned earlier on, and the 7 interviews that we did at the F12 conference in Lisbon. So there's lots and lots of stuff in there to look at. So if you get a chance, if you can get online tonight, have a look. Because you're all going to want to be working after dinner, I'm sure. Okay, so 7:15 in the lobby. And thanks very, very much for a really productive day. Really good.